Hello students, today we are going to start new semester. This is your fourth semester, second year, paper second. And there are 8 stories, 2 novels and 4 essays are there in your course. Today we are going to start the third unit and there is a novel Train to Pakistan and it is written by Khushwant Singh, a very high profile writer of India. Train to Pakistan. It shows the basic theme, the background of the novel is the partition of India into Pakistan and Bharat. This novel presents a village, Mano Majro, and the situation, the religious situation, the controversial situation, all these are presented in this novel by Khushwant Singh. Khushwant Singh, this article, this novel is about the novel Train to Pakistan for the Hindi movie Train to Pakistan, see Train to Pakistan film. Train to Pakistan, author Khushwant Singh, country India, language of this novel is English, genre historical novel, publisher is Chato Windus Publication, 1956, and this publication is take place in 1956 by Chato and Windus. So we can say then hardback and paperback is the pages 180 and this is the description of the novel, the physical novel. And Pakistan is a historical, Train to Pakistan is a historical novel by Khushwant Singh published in 1956. It recounts the partition of India in August 1947. And instead of depicting the partition in the term of only the political events surrounding it, Singh digs into a deep local focus, and this local is Mano Majro, providing a human dimension which bring to the event a sense of reality, horror, and believability. All these are presented in this book. Author, as we know, the author of this book is Khushwant Singh, which is a very high prolific and most honest writer, and most of his books are controversial as Love, Malice and Little Love, Woman and Little Malice and 1984, Train to Pakistan. All these are the controversial books of Khushwant Singh. He was an editor of Hindustan Times, and in many years we see many articles of the writer published time to time in that magazine also till today. He belonged to the India, and the language of this novel is English, and genre is historical novel, and publisher is Chato Windus, and publication date is 1956. 1956. This is the tabulatic reference of this book. Now, what is the structure? Social structure and cultural understanding among the people in the relativity short book. The reader gets to know a lot of characters in detail. Examination of the various group of people not only increase cultural and social understanding of that time and place, but also show that the blame could not be placed on any group, not on Hindu, not on the Muslim. Both are presented equally in this novel. All were responsible for the riots, for the controversy. All these are made by the both the religions, Hindu and Muslims. So no one is responsible for that because all were responsible. Muslims said that Hindu had planned and started the killing. And the Hindu said that the Muslim had planned and started the killing. So both parties or both the religious people blame on each other. According to Hindus, the Muslim were to blame. The fact is both sides killed, both slaughtered and stabbed and speared and clubbed, and both tortured, both raped at that time in 1947 at the time of partition. So this, the background of this novel is partition of 1947 and it is established just like a historical novel because Khushwant Singh himself felt, himself realized all these situations in his life. Mano Majro, this is the village which is situated anywhere, can be said Punjab or the Sindh area. The fictional village, it is a fictional village because there is no village like Mano Majro, but the situation tells us that it is belong to Pakistan or some like Sindh area. A fictional village on the border of Pakistan and India, in which the story takes place. It's predominantly Muslim and Sikhs. Singh shows how they lived in a bubble, surrounded by mobs of Muslim who hate Sikhs and mobs of Sikhs who hate Muslims. Both the situations are explained in this novel. While in the village, they had always lived together peacefully. In the start, we see that they lived peacefully, but when the riot start, they uh, fought with each other. Villagers work in the dark about happenings of larger scope than the village outskirts, gaining much of their information through rumor and word of mouth. There is no, there is nothing written, or there is nothing is very perfect. There are no proof about the murder or about the killing, but all the information come through the words of mouth and rumor. This is the main reason why that time riots and the killings took their place. This made them especially susceptible to outside views. Upon learning that the government was planning to transport Muslim from Mano Mazro to Pakistan the next day for their safety, it is the arrangement of the government. Government decide, government decide that the Muslim war should transport to Pakistan. One Muslim said, "What have we to do with Pakistan? Why do we go there? Because Mano Majro is our village. But we were here, so were our ancestors. We have lived among Sikhs as brothers. We lived amongst Sikhs as brothers. And after the Muslim leave to a refugee camp from where they will eventually go to Pakistan, a group of religious agitators came to Mano Majro and instills in the local Sikhs a hatred for Muslims and convinces a local gang of attempt mass murder as the Muslims leave on their train to Pakistan." This is a very pathetic condition of that people, of those people who are going to Pakistan by that train. And the train of killed people came from both the sides, India to Pakistan and Pakistan to India. This is a very pathetic condition of this novel, in this novel. If groups of people are examined on a closer level, then their religious attachment, a more detailed social structure emerges. Government officials were corrupt, manipulative of villagers, and could arrest anyone they choose for any reason, more often than not for their own benefit. They did just enough in terms of dealing with the dispute so that nobody could say that they did not do anything. They did not do anything. It is a very great, it is a very bad condition of the people. The law enforcement was completely at the whim of the local government, meaning that in practice, there was no law. Also, a small amount of educated people trickled in and out of villages, trying to instill in people democratic, communist, or other Western ideologies, though the common people were turned off and confused by their unorthodoxy. When one such educated man was speaking to a village about freedom, the villager explained. For example, Singh described the practice of prayer for Muslim. The mullah at the mosque know that it is time for the morning prayer. He has a quick wash, stand facing west towards Makkah, and with his finger in her ears, cries in long sonorous notes, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Singh point out practice of Sikh as well. The priest at the Sikh temple lies in bed till the mullah has called. Then he too gets up, draws a bucket of water from the well in the temple and courtyard, pours it over himself, and intones his prayer in monotonous song to the sound of splashing water. So this is show the community, this show the unity in the villages, why they quarrel with each other, why will they quarrel with each other. This is the question of an village person. Freedom is for the educated people who fought for it. We were slave to the English, not we will slave to the educated Indians or the Pakistan. This is statement given by the villager. Freedom is for the educated people who fought for it. We were slave of the English and now we were slave of the educated Indian or the educated Pakistani people. So what is the need of freedom for us? Because we have to do as the slave, we have to live as the slave. So why we fought with each other? Because we are slave and we will be the slave. To better understand the situation surrounding the partition of India, Singh provides information about both religions involved. The book sheds light on the various religious practice of both Sikhs and Muslims in rural India. Singh describes daily life for individuals for both practices, and then what is the politics which is described in the book Train to Pakistan. Khushwant Singh does not describe the politics of the partition in much detail because he described only the rural area in his book. This is mostly because his purpose is bring out the individual human element and provide a social understanding between two aspects of historical events, which tend to either ignored or not covered effectively in text. In the partition, the major change was political. Britain's splitting of India into Hindu India and Muslim Pakistan. The root of this riot is established in Britain. Britain want to make quarrel between them, so he divided India into two India, Hindu India and Muslim Pakistan. This term is given by the Britain, and he want to rule over India for many years, so he make a riot between these two religions. This is the politics. But the politics is not much explained in this book, and this book is completely goes around the Mano Majro village. The effect of the change, however, was significant, and as Singh has shown, frighteningly social as religious group rearranged and clashed violently. Singh makes it clear that many people played a part in the chaos and everyone was equally worthy of blame, all while integrating examples of the sheer moral confusion which arises from trying to make sense of an event as momentous as the partition. There are many movies are made on this novel. A movie based on the novel and having the same title, Train to Pakistan, was released in 1998. It was directed by Pamela Rooks. And this movie was nominated in Sanquest Film Festival 1999 in the Best Feature Film category. Nirmal Pandey, Mohan Agase, Rajit Kapoor, Smriti Mishra, Divya Datta, Mangal Dhillon were the main cast of this movie. This movie is based on the original novel which is written by Khushwant Singh. And this movie was made in 1998 and was awarded in 1999 by the Signquest Film Festival as a play. A play based on this novel and having the same title, Train to Pakistan. However, the first chapter, Dacoity, was staged at Lamkan, an open culture space, Hyderabad, Telangana, India. The play was staged by a theatre group called Ami. The play was adapted and directed by Krishna Shukla. This play was staged 3 times and at least bring on 26 August 2014. The latest Bring On 26th August 2014, it may be said that it is the last stage in 26th August 2014. Telangana, which is a new state in India, and the Lamakan, it is the part of Hyderabad, Telangana, India. Telangana is divided from the Madras state, a Chennai state, Andhra Pradesh. Moral message and character development. There are many characters in this novel, and the character, there are the moral messages in this novel. The first and the last important message is non-violence. Non-violence is the basic mantra to develop a civilization, and when the partition took place, this mantra completely destroyed by the person, and they fight with each other without any special cause. In addition to giving an understanding of human actions and pointing out that everyone was responsible, Singh make background moral commentary which bubble up through main characters in their thoughts and their actions. Hukum Chand is the religious magistrate and the most influential character in the story. It becomes apparent that he is a morally conflicted man who has probably used his power over the years with much corruption. He is often described with a dirty physical appearance as if he is overwhelmed with the unclean action and sin, and is just as often trying to wash himself of them, similar to Pontius Pilate after Christ was condemned. Pontius Pilate after Christ was condemned. Hukum Chand's ethical issues are shown in one of repeated encounters he has with two geckos, which likely represent Muslims and Hindus in conflict on the verge of fighting each other. Hukam Chand, who had made many malpractices, he go to the harlot. He had many harlots in his home, and he raped them time to time. This shows the two faces of a person at one time. When they start fighting, they fall right next to him and he panics. The guilt he gets from not helping when he has more than enough power to do so literally jump onto him. This shows the doubleness, or can be said, the hypocrisy of his face. Hukam Chand fell if he had touched the lizards and they had made his hands dirty. He rubbed his hand on the hem of his shirt. It was not the sort of dirt which could be wiped off or washed clean, because the dirt which he made, the dirty thing which he have made, cannot be cleaned by the wipe at a court or at a hem, the hem of court. It is. And then Chand felt that if he had touched the lizard, the Hukum Chand felt that if he had touched the lizard and they had made his hand dirty, he rubbed his hand to the hem of his shirt, and it was not the sort of dirt which could be wiped off and washed clean. Alcoholism is another tool Hukam Chand used in attempt to clean his consciousness. He feels the guilt of his action by day and relieved them by night. When his alcohol is able to justify visits with a teenage prostitute the same age he deceased daughter. In all his conflictions, he is able to acknowledge that what he is doing is bad, but is still unable to promote good. He want to be good, it can be said, but at the night time, he raped many teenage girls, prostitute, while his own daughter is of the same age. This shows that he is a male person, he is a bad person who represent the society's double face. The two other main characters that are given to lot of attention are Iqbal Singh Bahinder and Jagat Singh. and are likely meant to be contrasted. Iqbal is described as the slightly effeminate, well educated, and atheist social worker from Britain who thinks politically and cynically. Jagat is a towering, muscular, and uneducated villager who placed action over thought and is known for frequent arrests and gang problems. These two characters are controversial from each other. They are contrasted with each other. As if to warm them up for comparison, they were both arrested for the same murder they did not commit and were placed in adjacent cells. Upon their release, they learned that a gang was planning to attack a train taking Mano Mazero's Muslim population to Pakistan. They each had the potential to save the train, though it was recognized that this would cost their lives. Jagat nevertheless acts instinct after he found out about the about the Fesico that was going on, and he then sacrifices his life to save the train. Iqbal spends pages wondering to himself whether he should do something, exposing a moral paradox on the way. This shows the bullet is neutral. It hits the good and the bad. The bullet doesn't know that the person is good or the bad, the important and the insignificant without distinction. If there were people to see the act of self immolation, the sacrifice might be worthwhile, a moral lesson might be conveyed. The point of sacrifice is the purpose. For the purpose, it is not enough that a thing is intrinsically good. It must be known to be good. It is not enough to know within oneself that one is in the right. The question of right versus wrong, which Singh's puzzles throughout the book, are numerous, including those of what one should do when one has the opportunity, prevent something bad, when an act of goodwill is truly worthwhile, and how much importance is the consciousness of the bad. This is the question. The train to Pakistan, with its multiple gruesome and explicit account of death, torture, and rape for the public to read, makes the case that people do not need to know about the bad. As for the understanding, Kasarla tried to implement more and more about the religious issue like nativity, and with integration, it is an understanding of human element for the development of human civilization. Now, the review of the book. Partition that has left many scars in the hearts of several Indians, and those tragic days which still haunt the new India. The memories of that tragic period still make people sewer and are brought alive through a great novel by Khushwant Singh. This story is set across during the time when India was butchered into two nations of India and Pakistan, and this book was first published in 1956 after the 10 years of partition, when the horrendous memories of the Holocaust were still afresh in everybody's mind. And I think Khushwant Singh became very successful in his attempt because he presents a perfect situation, a completely true situation on a fictional village, and he got a great success after this novel. The present edition, released on the occasion of 50th anniversary, include the heart-reading photographs contributed by Margaret Brooke White. And the images provided by her go very well, go with the inner sense of the story and show the intensity of partition and the exodus of over a million immigrants and the largest in human history. And it is well known that the Pakistan was carried out upon in instigation of the British and based on communal lines. While the politics behind this tragic incident is what is most talked about, this piece of fiction by the author has attempted to bring forth the suffering faced by commoners. The story primarily revolved around the fictitious village located along the border named by author as Mano Majro. The story begins with a vivid description of how the village was like. It is followed by a dramatic incident that took place there one night. Ramlal, the village moneylender, is killed by a neighboring village dacoit, Malli. Now, the story shifts to its main characters, Jagat Singh and Iqbal and Hukam Chand. Jagat Singh is arrested as murder suspect by the police. He is portrayed as the local badmash of the village who loved only daughter of half-blind mullah of the village named as Nooran. On the other side, Iqbal, a social reformer, is a victim visiting Qawmi in disgue who wants to mobilize support for the Socialist Party of India. Then he came across the characters to the Hukam. Hukam Chand is a bad character in this novel because he has many bad practices in his character. The description of various characters in the story are presented in great detail that may allow to reader to form picture of what all happened. The village is portrayed to be a peaceful and harmonious place until the seeds of hatred and suspicions were shown. The story can be viewed from the different angles. If it is a love story between Sikh boy and Muslim girl, it was also a story that depicted and brutalities suffered by the people generated as the result of partition. Not just this, it is also tried to show how people viewed famous personalities like Mahatma Gandhi in some way or the other. As we can see the Raja Rao's famous novel, Kanthapura. The bravery of Jagat Singh is brought about in the story when he attempted to save several innocent lives and his lady love Nooran too. The crisis began when the horrifying train with cops entered the village and moreover the brutality mutualized bodies evoked furies and drove the Muslim of Mano Majro to shoo away the Muslims who were till there and their good friends and kin like. Various situations that lead to one incident from another, and the author weaves a heart-wrenching story in the backdrop of Pakistan. The story by Khushwant Singh, even being a work of fiction, is very close to reality in terms of scenes that they are created. The story was in a tone is quite depressing and touches the core of heart. This book is a must read for all those who want to get a glimpse of what happened as consequence of one of the most saddened episode of not just to be history, subcontinent, but also a human history. This is the summary of the story. The story is pretty simple. It is about the sacrifice of one man to save a few hundred lives while intensity prevails everywhere. And now, it is difficult to determine that who started the communal riots in 1947 and up to what extent the moral and religious of both sides permit the killing. But one thing is for sure that in 1947 took away a lot famous both India and Pakistan, something that can never be returned. Thanks. In next class, we will read the 8 stories which are given in your syllabus. Have a good day.